Welcome to Two Finger Tuesday, a production of the James McGee Show. Conversations are just easier had over a good old two finger. So pour yourself a glass of your favorite booze and join your host, James McGee, for a drink and some real talk.
All right, we are live. All right. Welcome back to the James McGee Show, Two Finger Tuesday. I'm your host. I am James McGee. And Joe Collins just joined us. Look, Joe Collins just joined us.
What time?
We're almost counting him out. But got Joe Collins, we got Tom Wells, and we are live. Man, so Joe, you just you didn't get any pregame, so you got to just go. You're just gonna have to call an audible and go raw, man.
I can do it on the fly, brother.
There is absolutely no doubt that you don't need any pre-gaming, man. I got my glasses on. I got my glasses on tonight because we're gonna refer to some stats. But let's talk about of course Two Finger Tuesday. So let's talk about what we're drinking. And so Joe, you go first.
I have some Jameson IPA.
Oh, that's good. I like anything Jameson. The only thing I like Jameson is that coffee flavored. I don't like any liquor coffee flavored, but that Jameson IPA is really good.
I think.
What about you, Tommy?
I would say Joe's rocking a 3 or 4 finger there. I like it.
The big cube. The big cube. A cube is
that's a Mark Krause 2 finger right there. That's Mark Krause cigar fingers. God, that's a full fist, Joe.
Yeah, right there. Look at that. Right there.
I know. Look at that thing. Look at that. Tonight I'm sporting a bottle of Smoke Wagon. This is a single batch. The Smoke Wagon is out of Las Vegas, Nevada, but I found out a really interesting story this week that this is actually brewed right here near my hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, in a place called Lawrenceburg, Indiana, at the old Seagram's whiskey plant. So it's pretty good stuff.
That's a fancy bottle.
I know. Isn't that cool? It's even got a little seal on there. I mean, look at that. There we go.
Joe, one day we're going to reach Tom Wells status.
Oh, yeah.
The likelihood of that is not good.
Well, so I am drinking Jack Daniel's number 7, but what's special about this one, it's a special batch that you can only get at the distillery in Lynchburg. And I bought it a couple years ago when I was touring the distillery, and I bought that bottle, and I'm having a little sip of that tonight. But more importantly, it's what I'm drinking out of tonight. I am drinking out of the official The James McGee Show whiskey glass that was sent to me by our good friend Rich Crumman, who's been on the show a couple times and who works for Engraved in USA, and looks like they're going to be the first sponsor of Two Finger Tuesday. We're talking about it. Looks like they're going to be the first sponsor of our show. Man, we have made it, Tom. Joe, we have made it, man.
I know, man.
So, again, man, I'm so thankful that Rich got me this, and man, it's awesome. So let's get a toast. And we're going to toast to Tom. Tom, tell us a little bit about before we get into 70 officers so far in the first half of the year have been killed in line of duty, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But Tom, give us a little update on the railroads.
Well, interestingly enough, we I don't think I mentioned this before, but we were just purchased by a company called Regional Rail, and they own 15 other short lines in the around the United States. And we're very excited about the acquisition, and it looks like there's going to be an opportunity to go full time when they take over our railroad in July 2nd. So I'm very, very excited about that opportunity, and excited about some of the benefits that come along with that. So we'll see. I don't want to speak prematurely here, but it looking good.
Well, it sounds like that company's smart because that they got a good man, and we're happy for you, and we're definitely proud of you. And we retire early, but we still got something to give, and right. It's nice, and but it's also nice to work because you want to work.
Right.
So we're so fortunate about the retirements that we have.
Yes.
We're all 3 working. I just started a business with my son. It's because I want to build something. I want to see what I can do. But If I get tired of it tomorrow, I can leave. And so can y'all. And that's just such a great feeling that I want these young guys that are out there grinding and just, going through being a police officer in this day and age is just hard. But man, that light, man, keep your eye on that light because it's pretty good on the it's pretty good life on the other side if you get there.
I would have never dreamed that I'd be able to do the job I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. First of all, I love being a police officer and having that career. And then to be able to do this now is just, I still have to pinch myself. But like you said, what's so nice is that I'm able to do this because I want to. I don't have to do it. I'm totally there because I want to. I love the guys I work with. I love the line we work on and the opportunities. It's not just running a train. We do all kinds of different things. And I've learned so much over there. So I just, I can't believe it.
No forking way, Tommy.
Where's my little, where's my prop? Here we go.
There it is, man.
Norfolk way, pal. I'm still working on getting the orientation. I'm not as versed here as Jimmy. I'm not quite the media mogul that he is, but I'm trying to work this whole.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I think he sits in front of the mirror. He sits in front of the mirror, figuring it all out.
Hey, nothing wrong with preparation. I'll drink to that.
And I'm still not figuring it out. I'm still up there, man. So the first half of the year has not been good. Line of duty deaths so far, and we're almost at the first half. 70. Terrible. So we analyzed a little bit of it. It's consistent with what it normally is. Majority gunfire and crashes. But what I want to dig into a little bit tonight is April. When the last time we talked about this was, I think, mid-April, and it was around 15. They reached 25 in April. 25 in 1 month. And I looked at it, and there was one in Charlotte that Tom was going to give us an update on, that 3 officers were killed in Charlotte.
And I was wrong. It was 4.
4. But I looked at it in April, and nothing really stood out. Nothing was. It was other than 4 in Charlotte. There was no certain areas. No, it just was. It was just a bad month. Yep. And I just hope our second half is better. And but like I said, it crashes and gunfire are the main ones. Tommy, update us on what you find, what happened in Charlotte.
Well, the situation was on April 29th. It was a situation where the Charlotte Mecklenburg police and the local U.S. Marshals task force were closing in on a suspect that was wanted for some felony weapons violations, and they located him. And with that group that they had assembled, they approached him, and I don't know the specifics of as far as whether there was a cover available or that sort of thing. I think they approached him to make the arrest, and he pulled out a weapon and just simply opened fire. He wound up striking 8 officers in that barrage, which, we talk about these things that happen, so often it's a single officer. That's the most dangerous situation, being as a single officer by yourself, especially, it doesn't matter if you're in a remote area or an urban area. The bottom line is when you're by yourself, people are the people that have that inclination to try to take you on are going to be more likely to do it when you're by yourself. Here's a guy that took on a small army of police officers, shot 8 of them. And in the end, 3 of the task force members from various departments in that area and the U.S. Marshals, and then 1 Charlotte Mecklenburg officer were killed in that incident, and the other 4 wounded. And, this is one of the, I guess, sort of to sum it up, I would say this is one of the things that I really find disturbing these days, that there's this trend to be, there's a lot of anti-government sentiment out there. And understandably, we don't have a lot going on in our government to be proud of right now. And I mean that on both sides. And the police are the most visible, touchable end of that. And it just seems like there's been this, this wholesale taking it out on that arm of the government. The police are taking the brunt, and I think that's a perfect example of that. Where a person
I think it is. And Joe, put you on the spot a little bit. I think Tom's got a really good point. 70, if it stays on track, that's 140 for the year, which is really high. We were getting down to the low hundreds. So if we're at 140, do you feel like two things that come to mind: the anti-police, and then officers? To me, what we've created with, we've scared them so much to use force.
Yes.
Are they being skittish? Are they not doing things that are getting them killed because they don't want to go to fucking jail? That is what do you think about that, Joe?
Couple things. Some more statistics to throw a little bit more on this. What you're talking about with the anti-police, with the lack of support from the communities, with the officers having to figure out their place in the world and their place in their organizations and culture. What numbers don't show up on that one is through First Help. They've got other numbers, right? And those aren't on there. So the numbers for First Help for up to date right now are 59. 59 suicides, and that includes 48 police officers, correctional officer, 8 firefighters, and 2 dispatchers on top of the numbers
Active
that you
duty.
talked about. Correct.
So
Well,
you're talking about active duty.
it could be retarees. They don't list that in.
If you had to guess, it's probably it's active duty.
I would say most are. So we're well into the, what is that, 140?
Yeah.
Ish, 140 if you add the suicides on top of the line of duty deaths, which now are considered line of duty, if they can track it back to a work-related situation, doing the psychological autopsies. So, and then going back to the Charlotte thing that Tom was talking about. So 2 of the 4 were also deputized as marshals. So 3 marshals were killed that day, which is devastating to the U.S. Marshal Corps. So we did some work with them. We're helping support them in the background with all of the stuff. We're really close to the president of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, which they are part of, and he is a U.S. Marshal. Just devastating to the organization, devastating to the communities and the families. And again, looking at that, then what are the rest of the people in those organizations thinking? You know, it's tough.
I mean, it's hard enough to bury one officer. I can't even imagine what it must be like to have 4. You know, and we know the other incidents that occurred. We had the 5 that were in Dallas. You know, there were 3 in Pittsburgh, 4 in Oakland over the last decade or so. You know, and it's like I just can't even wrap my head around that with the devastation of something like that within a department.
So,
well, it escapes me, but it was shortly after the Dallas 5, right, that we had the situation in Baton Rouge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that you're going to know our classmate's name from Baton Rouge, James.
Carl. No. Carl was the chief then. He is a graduate. But our class. So we had Ray Tragle was our classmate. We didn't have one from Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I don't
Ray
think so.
Ray was from about 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
We had Mike Kindler from Jefferson Parish, but Carl Dabity was the chief. Carl and I are really good friends. We were instructors of physics tactics together. He's an NA graduate. He went 2 years. Carl went 2 years before us.
Okay.
You want to talk about a super guy. Just a prince of a man. I talk to him, still talk to him routinely. We talked actually when probably the first of the year when I wrote my blog, 4-part blog on police use of force. I talked about what went on over there, and out of respect for Carl, I sent it to him first off, before I released it. Want to make sure that I was accurate, and he called me and said, "Man, look, you're on the money." He said, "This is exactly what happened, and we need people like you." That Carl's still active. I think he's a major with East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office now, and just a super man.
And the reason I brought that up is that when I was watching the press conference, he was standing right behind the chief, and it was like it really made me reflect on how small our world is, right? Yeah. So after 15 years, this is very close at hand behind me. You guys recognize that? That is our.
I was actually just going through the. Remember the book we got that had all the photographs in it?
Yeah,
the hardbound book. I was just going through that one a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's back over one of my shelves over here. Up on top.
Yep.
So I agree, and I think it's we can't deny that the culture is contributing to the increase of line of duty deaths, and something has to be done. We can't keep ignoring. I know we're not ignoring it, but who the hell are we? We can't. We're not controlling that anymore for sure. But that's got to be that has got to be recognized. But what I want these young guys to understand is, I know it's hard. I know it fucking sucks, but let me tell you, you still work in the absolute best profession in the nation and a part of the best fraternity in the nation.
Right.
And each of us have stories that we could share of being a part. I mean, you can reach out to people anywhere in this nation because you're a cop. Shit in the world. So
You're right.
don't forget what you are part of. What you're part of something special, and keep your eye on that. And if you're lucky enough, these 70 that died already this year, they sure want it to be like us sitting here collecting some big fat retirement checks, and they don't have that chance now. They don't have that chance, and it's preventable, and we've just got to do better.
Mm-hmm. We just had an officer involved shooting in a community in our area about 3 weeks ago. And I tell you, talk about a textbook study and how to handle that properly with the prosecutor's office. I'll tell you, it was the Corning Township Police Department. They were involved in a situation where they were investigating a suspicious person. It was a drug situation. And as soon as they approached this individual, right outside of a grocery store, he turned and opened fire on the officers. There's video of it. If I would ask your listeners here and your viewers to go on there, do a Google search on it. The video of it is amazing. The bravery of these officers. They were officers from multiple angles, and their body cameras and footage from the store that showed what occurred there. And our prosecutor in Hamilton County, Melissa Powers, who's a very good friend of law enforcement, she's a very fair individual. She's a former prosecutor, former judge. Looked at that, and within a couple of days, they had the whole package together. They showed it to the public, and they basically said, "This is no bill on the officers." And she did nothing but praise and commend the officers for their bravery and for their actions. And to me, it's so refreshing to see somebody who's willing to step up and say what needs to be said. So Check it out, viewers. It's Melissa Powers, Hamilton County prosecutor, and it's Corning Township Police Department officer involved shooting from, I should have gotten the date down, but it's late May.
Mm-hmm.
Is there is there any stories offhand that y'all can think of that, because of your contacts and being part of this fraternity and the network that you have, that you were able to reach out somewhere foreign to you in this nation and make something happen that nobody else could have made happen? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have stories.
This week?
Yeah,
Jeff's got some stories because
yeah. So I think that the largest geographical reach, about 6 months ago, we actually had someone that works for a federal agency that went through the FBI National Academy, heard about me, and she was actually a peer support coordinator in Japan. She went through the NA. She called me and looking for help for one of their folks. And that person was stationed in Guam. And I went to the website, and sure enough, we have an FBI National Academy graduate that works for the Attorney General in Guam.
That's awesome.
And I sent him an email. 5 minutes after I hit send, he called me. What do you need? How can I help?
It's incredible.
Got connected, got resources for the person.
Yeah. Well, I give Joe another pat on the back. Here's another example. Just recently, here I am in Cincinnati, and there was an officer that was in need in Cincinnati who I've never met. I don't even know who it is. But Joe reached out to me to get some information on one of our local peer support groups. I was able to provide that information to him because of our connection. And then he made contact with that individual directly, Amy Foley from Tri-State Peer Support. And they were able to put together a coordination to get that person the help they needed. And it's phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing like this network.
No. And it's, and you say net, and I use that a lot because what we're trying to do is tighten the net up. Mm-hmm. Because we don't want people falling through, because when we started doing this and talking about this, there was no net. And then it became a net that we maybe caught some really, really big things that were falling through. But what the goal is to make it so it's a minnow net at the end of the day. And so the tri-state, that doesn't go unnoticed to me when he said that now, because they cover Indiana, and Tell City had an officer that was killed not long ago. They were looking for resources, so I'm connecting them together to make that net better. And we're actually going to be going out and supporting them, doing some resiliency training in September out in Tell City for the city and the department. So it's there are resources available everywhere. It's just a matter of figuring out how to access them. And I had a conversation with someone today. They were, looking at trying to get into leadership roles. And one of the things I say is that, you know what, when I promoted people into leadership roles, it wasn't expecting them to know everything. It was expecting them to figure out who knows the answer and connecting with them and creating their network.
That's right.
Make things happen. That's what leaders do, is make things happen.
Yeah. It's about figuring out how you can solve problems.
That's right.
So the best one that I have, and I probably have told y'all this story. I don't think I've said it on air. But so I'm 53, so it would have been 13 years ago. It was a couple days before my 40th birthday. So y'all remember, I don't know if y'all were both stayed for Louisiana night when we were at the academy.
Oh, yeah.
Both of y'all were there.
I'll never forget it.
So one of the men that came and helped was a man named Hawk Herford. He worked for the sheriff's office, but he was just a legend in the whole state in law enforcement. He's a retired chief of police. Well, Hawk came. Well, they were doing a roast for my 40th birthday, and he was just an old school as they get, man. Old school as they get. And him and I hit it off real well. And I saw him. He was going to Fort Lauderdale on vacation. He's like, McGee, I'm telling you, I got a flight early. I got a flight come back early so I can go to your party, because we're going to roast your fucking ass. And he's on me. So his stepson, his wife is just a princess of a lady. His stepson is a good friend of mine. Well, he flew out, I guess, on a Tuesday. Well, that Tuesday night at 11, I get a phone call from his stepson, and he was crying and told me Hawk died, dropped dead in the hotel lobby. And he said, man, my mom's there. I don't know what to do. I said, I don't either, but we're going to figure it out. So our chief deputy, who's being sworn in this week as our new sheriff, him and Hawk was hiring him into law enforcement. So I had to call him and tell him, and it was a horrible, horrible thing. So I'm like, I got to figure out how to take care of his wife. So I called Larry Jariga, who was one of our classmates.
Yep.
And I told him what I had, and he said, hey, call Bacata. He said, John Bacata. He said, John Bacata is the man in the area that she's in. Because I told her where she was. He said, call John. He said, if John can't help you, call me back. I called John Bacata, and it was done. I didn't have to do it. It was done. He sent a car to the hospital, brought her back to the hotel, got all her stuff, helped her get a flight home, stayed with her until she left. Probably 10, 12 hours. Didn't leave her side.
That's a beautiful man he is.
That's the power of this profession and the power of that network.
Right.
One phone call. Call John Bacata. He says, done.
He's a man.
Yeah. And that's, and look, if it had been in your area, it'd have been done. Same thing. My area, you have a problem, it's done.
Yep.
That's what we have to keep focus on. And with all the negative, there's a lot of positive in this profession too.
Yeah.
Well, and you will get exactly out of it what you choose to put into it. 100%.
I agree with that.
It's the same thing with the NA. We had a number of people that went through just to have it so there's a box check on their resume. But there's people that went in to make it a lifelong adventure. And you get out what you put into it. So
I mean, I feel fortunate, serving on the executive board here in Ohio, that being able to give back to this chapter and to be able to give back, I could have never, I just feel like with what I received from the FBI NA experience with all of you guys there in Quantico, and then what I've experienced here in Ohio with the training that I received, I could have never done what I did in that time, in that critical time, and with other things I had to deal with while I was chief, and before that too, but especially while I was chief, that I'll never be able to repay that ever. And whatever I can do to do that, that's what I want to do. And I love being a part of it because I just want to give that back.
I'll tell you, if you have a chance, if you're a law enforcement officer, you're a law enforcement leader, and you have a chance to go to National Academy, fucking go. It just gives you a whole different perspective. My wife is one of the biggest examples. She has never been a girls trip person or a girls night person. She doesn't do that. That's just not what she does. Well, she met 3 ladies. Man, she went last week to Boston. One of them was at the JFK School of Government, that 3-week school there. Real exclusive deal. And so she flew for the weekend, spent the weekend with her. And then last night she tells me, she said, hey, in November, we're all meeting in Florida and we're going on a beach trip. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
But that's not her norm. And the people that go there.
She's an even higher level human being now.
Yeah. It's just the people that go there. And look at us, man, 15 years later, we're tighter than we've ever been. It's just you're just, look, there were some jerk-offs that went there, but very few.
Right.
There were very few there. It's just you surround yourself with some really high-level people, like-minded people, and I think that's why I'm so supportive of anybody going.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, for all of you people out there that may be a candidate to go who are listening to this, flush that "I don't want to be away from home for 11 weeks" bullshit right out of your vocabulary, because I'm telling you what, your family will appreciate what you get out of it. You will bring home not only the training that you got as a law enforcement officer, but it will enrich you as a person, and they will love the experience because they'll be a part of it too. Do not cheat yourself and your family out of this opportunity. I hear so many people, but I don't want to go. I don't want to spend the time. No, that's the biggest.
Hey,
yeah.
I left my wife with a 6-year-old, Holy Terra 6-year-old daughter, who's turned out, I say this every time, I always say she has turned out to be an amazing woman, but 6 years old, she was fucking terrible. So I left her here with her. But look, all our kids are around the same age. We all had young kids when we went.
Well, and we went to January through March, and I was in Wisconsin, and that was the biggest snow year in many years when I was gone.
Yeah. It'd be like me leaving during hurricane season.
Yeah. And but I got some great advice from a leader at Dallas Police Department. I sat down with him and I was talking. He said, it's all about thirds when you go to the FBI Academy. And what he meant by that is that you spend a third of your time in the academics, you spend a third of the time in the physical fitness, and you spend a third of the time with the social interaction and building your networks.
Yep.
Don't screw up the balance, because we had those in our class, right? That went maybe 95% social, and then some.
Well, we had one, Mark Krause, who did 75% in the fucking cafeteria because he's the only man in the history of the National Academy that gained fucking weight.
But then we also had people that spent all their time on the academics, right? And they're sitting in the rooms all of the time, and it's like I remember I sat in the front row because I was in section 1C, right? And I was sitting next to people like, who's that? Who was that? It's like they spent all their time in the room doing all of that, right?
Look, I got on the elevator the week of graduation with a guy, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. Well, I know I had
this guy in my life.
Yep. When we were queued up in the hallway doing the rehearsal for graduation, I thought the same thing. I saw a couple of people. I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever seen that person yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. The balance. And that's one thing I did right. I got in tremendous physical shape. My academics, I took care of my academics, and then I made some really good friends and did some fun stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's what really it's about.
Well, we were far enough away. We were far enough away that, you didn't go home every weekend. Some of the guys that were in the metro area and stuff, they'd be gone. But
I'm glad I wasn't, because I felt like I would
Yeah.
feel like I had to. I would feel like an obligation almost.
To
And
go home
I
with.
didn't want. I wouldn't have wanted. You
Yeah.
miss so much. A lot of
Yeah.
these people that went home on the weekends, I think they missed a lot.
Oh yeah, all the adventures, all the outings that we did on the weekends at different places.
Yep.
And I loved the museums. I spent so much time in
Mhm.
the Smithsonian's and the different places downtown. It was just
Yep.
incredible.
And it was my first time going to Monticello, and I mean, that was
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. I love the history of those kind of places. And the other thing I love doing was I spent a whole day with some of the guys walking around Arlington Cemetery. I mean, you know how that is. You go to Arlington, you got to go Tomb of the Unknown. You got to see Kennedy's grave. No, we just walked around the whole place and found different graves that were just phenomenal in terms of their historic significance. It was really just, it was incredible.
Absolutely. Well, and all of the monuments are different at different times of the day. My favorite one to visit is the Korean War Memorial at night.
At night, yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it
It's
is.
just-
No, Korean War Memorial is amazing.
Yeah, my dad's a Korean vet, so it means that much more too. So I've just got some amazing photographs of those statues at night, and and if you spend time and really look at every single one has a different face, a different expression, and it's the same with all of the different things. But that's my favorite, one of my favorite ones to visit. So
I went to. It was so freaking cold. I went to one battlefield. Matt Tuttle was really big into those. Him and Rob Myers. Y'all remember Rob from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So I went to one. I'm like, hey, y'all can go. It's too cold. It's too cold for me, man. But I went to it every weekend. It seemed like I went with some different groups, which was pretty cool. One weekend I went to the cemetery with the California crew, Manny Guadarrama.
Yep.
Ed Hargrave from San Diego. Huh?
Musgrave.
Yeah, from San Diego. One from Oakland that had that bad deal right after he got back with the SWAT officers. He was the interim chief.
The hospital. Yeah.
What was his name? He was a young guy.
Come on, man. Well, he wasn't that young. He was the one that had the foot problem.
Yeah.
No, that was Long Beach.
Hey, now,
no. Yeah, that was Bob. That was Bob from Long Beach.
Yeah. Oakland. We had somebody from Oakland.
We had someone from Oakland.
He was a lieutenant. He was the head of the SWAT team. He was the lieutenant, and then I'm talking about.
He's the one that
I don't
gave
even know
us
if he had made it home. I don't know if he had made it home yet. And I think 4 SWAT officers were killed.
Yeah. He put on. I was in a class called Officer Involved Shooting, and he was in that class, and he gave a presentation on some of the different training and showing the different types of officer tactics and how that had evolved there at their department, and very interesting stuff. But that's one of the things I love too, is that there was a lot of students that were providing, our classmates that were providing content as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
and now we have Floyd Mitchell is actually the chief in Oakland. So Floyd was in Kansas City.
That's right.
He went Kansas City. Gotcha.
Well, then he went to Lubbock, and then he recently took over as the chief in Oakland.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. Good for him.
Wow. No,
well, maybe
Floyd is a good guy.
He is a good guy. It's like
that's what I mean.
I guess if you want a challenge, Oakland is probably quite the challenge in the law enforcement world. So
I wonder if he'll come back, if he'll be at the conference. So
I don't know. When he was in Lubbock, we had quite a few, not this year, but the year before at the Texas conference. So I was able to see quite a few of them at the conference there. But getting back to the whole social, it's one of my favorite experience, and I wanted to do this, is at the interacting with the international students. That was really cool. So we had 27 students from 26 countries. Yep. If you want to call Canada a country, we had 2 Quebecan Canadians, Canucks. But it was funny because I had a vehicle there because people had told me, you know what, you need your car, get your car there. And so I had a car full of international students to Best Buy at like the second or third day I was there, right? And then I get back, and Donnie, he's like, I hear you bring someone to Best Buy. It's like, can you bring me? It's like, absolutely. So we loaded up. I had another, and that was the thing. The day 3, I think I met Donnie, and he was literally across the hall from me. And that's one of my best friends in life.
And you've been to Montenegro.
Yeah, 4 trips to Montenegro to be with them, and plus he's come back a number of times, so it's been it's like you said, life changing, life experiences that could have never happened if it wasn't for that involvement in those people that we met when we were there, right?
And, you know,
Yeah,
honestly,
I talked to Jim Leonard today. I'm going to a wedding. I don't know shit about California. I've only been to California once in my life. So we're going to a wedding in Berkeley.
Oh boy. Okay.
And so I called him and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Berkeley." He said, "Man, it's 20 minutes." I didn't realize it was 20 minutes from you, and also didn't realize that it was Berkeley's pretty much right in the wine country area.
yeah.
So
You gonna be out there on a Wednesday?
I'm flying in on a Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm flying in, but it's not going to be till Wednesday evening. I'm flying in on a Wednesday, and flying out on a Monday.
Okay.
We're going to fly into San Francisco.
Yeah, it's only probably about 30 miles north.
Oh, no, we're going to Napa. No, that's why we're going early. Going to go to Napa.
Excellent.
And we're going to go see Jim Leonard. So
yeah, he's an amazing human. Him and his wife, great people.
Oh, you talk about. That's how amazing he is. I asked him to be on the show, and he said, "Man, I just don't think I meet that criteria." I said, "Dude,
of course."
You know, I mean, was he 3 or 4 in charge of California Highway Patrol at one time? So you're telling me you don't match up with us bunch of goofballs?
He's a very humble man.
Yeah,
very humble man. Just one of the finest men I've ever met.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
So, give us something to close it, Tommy.
Well, let's see. I'll wrap this lighter conversation because it sure was fun to reminisce. But here's what I would tell you. Opportunities like the FBI Academy strengthen who you are, and it helps you deal with some of the things we were talking about tonight. As long as there's evil in the world, there's going to be officers that are killed in the line of duty. But we have to do everything we can to educate our officers. We have to train our officers. We have to get them talking about this, not to scare them. We have to get them, build confidence in them, and support them. That's all I want to say.
100%.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, and what I'd like to just say to the officers that are still doing the job, thank you, and make sure your compass is always pointing north. It doesn't mean that you have to be on a straight line, because that's not what life does to us, right? But as long as you've got the values established in your life and your compass is pointing in the right direction, just do the right thing. Everything else will work its way out. Just do the right thing.
Yeah. I had a very good friend said to me, I'll just throw this in real fast. Years ago, I was talking about a situation, and he said, "Tom," he goes, "it's very simple. When in doubt, do the right thing."
So there are some really bad and really evil people in the world, and it's scary. But what is scary? What's the scariest? Is this world without the good people willing to stop the evil. And that's what we have to remember. So my message to them is, if not you, then who?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it, who's going to do it? It's who's going to do it? Somebody less qualified, somebody less who has
less dedication,
doesn't care as much, it doesn't have the determination, the drive, and everything that you have. So try to put all that shit out of your head, and more importantly, stay focused and don't hesitate. Get out there and do what you're trained to do. You're going to come out on top in the battle, then you will come out on top in the aftermath too. Don't go get your ass shot off because you're worried about the aftermath. Just get out there and do the right thing, because we need you guys. We need you, men and women out there. We need you more than we ever have in this world.
Yeah.
So we will next week, hopefully, God willing, we will all be back next week. And Tom, you can give us an update on the railroad and see how things are going. Joe, so where are you at in the nation this week? Are you traveling, or are you home for a little bit?
No, I'm home until we're going to be driving up north, doing our walkthrough in a couple of weeks. But no, we're going to have something patriotic to do next week here. So
yes,
July 2nd.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, my wheels will start spinning on that one. Yeah. We will definitely do it. 4th of July is my absolute favorite holiday, man. It really is. It's just it's that it just is. It always has been, and I'll have to think I might have to wear my 4th of July hat.
Indeed. Well, I've already got something in mind. And I am the warm-up act for July 4th. Did you know that? My birthday is July 3rd.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're Mr. Independence.
That's right. That's right.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. So we will. So next Tuesday will be the 4th of July special. So let's think about what America. We'll talk about what America means to us.
Oh man, I can't wait.
All right. All right. Until then, we'll have to think about. I don't know. We got to figure out some kind of 4th of July drink too. What's a good American? What says America more than anything?
We'll figure it out.
We will. Until then, McGee, Collins, and Wells are